Are you ready for today? We're going to talk about the amazing future that awaits that we're now starting to take control over. The predictions of 2025, 2026, all the way up to 2030. But today, I want to talk about, can you actually change it? Can you actually control it? And let's start with your own life, because I'm going to give you a practice today to test whether you can do that or not. This is going to be up to you, because I demonstrate through little tricks like the lottery whether or not I'm on track with my thinking. You see, subconscious thinking can undermine a lot of your efforts. Let's talk about getting into that space where you actually can create things in your own life first, no matter what's going on out there. And then that actually affects everything out there. And you'll see all of that change. That's what's happening now. So you ready for this fun little trick and to talk about how we actually are doing everything? Not sure about that? Let's explore it. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube. We're breaking through fear. We're navigating this present period of time, creating our future. We're going into the awakened state. We're going into consciousness. So let's not get all woo-woo. Let's talk about quantum physics. Not totally understood by anybody, really, other than our observation creates. Yeah, and what we think and believe affects that creation. It could be different for you, different for me, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope you'll go on this journey with me, because I'm going to help you to tap into that power more and more every week, so that it becomes what I discussed in my last video, the norm. Yeah, 2030, where it's predicted that we won't be studying spirituality, it just will be how we live. That is who and what we are. There will be an acceptance. We're going to be using holistic healing in hospitals. Governments are going to come together in unity to create solutions for problems, to take care of those who maybe aren't doing it themselves. That's how it works, my friend. We're going to come in unity and no division. And if you're still doing that, if you're finding criticism in others, ask yourself, what's that frequency? That's what we're going to talk about right now. I also want to mention that the norm is going to be, people are going to be leaving jobs that they don't love, that are destructive to the planet. Are you in one of those? Are you living that life every day? Coming home and meditating, trying to do right things, and then you go into a job that is not good for other people, that harms the planet? You can't go into that new world if you're doing that. It doesn't work that way. Every area of our lives has to respect everything out there, including animals, which, by the way, are going to be a big part of this new future that we're going into. You're going to understand that they're highly intelligent and a very important part of our ecosystem. So if you are going into a job that you hate, if you are entrepreneurial, I think you know that digitalexplorers.net, I have a free webinar for you. I got some cool questionnaires coming out so you can understand what kind of entrepreneur are you. And that frame of mind that we're going to talk about today is going to determine your success in your career and your finances, of course, even your relationships. How you think about yourself and money is a big part of your life and whether you've been successful or not. So you might say, well, I've been a really good person. I'm a highly spiritual person, and I'm always giving. But if we dug deep, I guarantee you, in 5 minutes, I could tell you what you really think. Just look at the patterns. So even though you're giving, and maybe you're not succeeding financially, the issue is perhaps that you believe that it is wrong or evil to have money in abundance. Well, that's ridiculous, because abundance flows for everyone. How you use it and how you earn it, that's different things. The question is, how are you earning it? What are you doing in your life right now? Because we're going to talk about testing this, testing those thoughts about what you're capable of, and if you're coming from a thought of lack, because this is what creates that future out there. That 2030, that milestone, supposedly, when a lot of astrological things change, when the shift is happening because we are going into consciousness, when we recognize that everything is intelligent, including the rock, it is sentient. And so maybe it doesn't have a brain or feelings like we do, but it is alive and it is intelligent and it is connected to all things. Nothing is separate from you. What frequency are you on right now? So on occasion, I'll get somebody who'll put something nasty in the comments. And my question is, what's going on in here? What pain are you feeling? To project that anger out there. It's never personal. And I know that you're going through something and you're angry. And so your anger wants to make other people feel bad too, because that's how you get attention. So, can you go into compassion? Because you will always see this going on. And the more we go into 2030, the more you're going to see the resistance, the battle for control from the lower frequencies that believe the material world is all important and actually fear what's beyond it. Those in the higher realms know that we are not the material world, that we are the power that creates it. And so, ye are all gods, and whether you believe that or not, that is a quote from the Bible. And so I believe that ye are all gods means we are all powerful, perfect beings, because we come from what? One source, no separation. And what is out there is vast and creative and expansive. So let's talk about this. You're probably saying, show me how to win the lottery. Well, I'm going to tell you a little story before this, because this is going to be critical for you to start manifesting things in your life, because we want to come from the high frequency. Now, I coached somebody who won the lottery 2 or 3 times, at least twice. One was like maybe $100,000, and the second time was over $1 million. And he did this in a very short period of time. He was in the newspapers because it was sort of freaky. And I said, what are you doing with me? Why am I coaching you? Because is there a problem? He said, yes. He was broke, he lost his girlfriend, and he was sick. And on top of it, there was a neighbor across the street that was torturing him, doing drugs and partying, and had hit his car, and of course they're out there arguing. And so I said, so obviously, despite the fact that he had, and this is so important for you to pay attention to, he had shifted into the space where he could create that wealth. He went back to the old patterns and habits, and this is what happens to most people. You'll have this high and low, oh, things are great, and then you're going back to self-sabotage or whatever it is, or blaming other people, or you're unhappy. What happens to those people? They don't recognize that they're allowing the old patterns to come in, so therefore they actually create the loss. And so they go back into that space where they started from. We're going to talk to you about not going back into that space. So I said to him, well, if you want to get rid of this guy across the street, I want you to do something you're not going to want to do. I want you to meditate and send him light and love. Because what he's doing isn't personal. He's just sort of in a bad place in his life. So we don't want that for somebody else. We want to change that world according to what we're sending out there that can help others, not us wanting people to change because our ego wants it to be a certain way. This is key right now, what I'm saying. So I said to him, you got to do this. And he did. And within, I think it was 24 hours, the person picked up everything, abandoned everything, and left. And I said to him, people cannot survive in the light. Darkness cannot survive in the light. It has no power over you. So I want you to recognize that, because whatever's going on out there, no matter how powerful it seems and dark, it cannot survive or it's not sustainable in the light. And this is why more people are going into consciousness because they understand that that power can actually transform darkness. That's when we make the difference. Not trying to change you or tell you you're wrong, or I'm awakened and we're arguing because my family doesn't understand me. That's not awakening. That's your ego thinking you're in a better place and that they don't get it. So that brings me back to the lottery. So what I do is I test myself as to where I am with my thoughts. You know, I run businesses, and so I'm entrenched in that all day, so it's not easy to clear my mind all the time, although I can do it like that. But I'm usually pretty busy. So I decided I was going to test and go back into that space where I win a lot of things. My friends actually know this. Freaky stuff happens for me that it's unexplainable. I'll give you an example. One of my students and her son had drowned, and we were coming up with some ways to help save children out there, and we were collaborating on it. That's what I do in Digital Explorers. I help you to find the better ways to create businesses, and so we were doing a little brainstorming, and so we came up with something, but nothing really happened with it. Well, just a couple days ago, for some reason, I decided out of the blue to look up somebody that I haven't seen in 15 years and worked with on one project. I have no clue why I did this. I looked this person up, and lo and behold, he created a device that was exactly what we were looking for. And so this person who I worked on this unbelievably cool project with when I was an investment banker, I'm reaching out to him to see if perhaps we can collaborate. No coincidences, and these are the things that'll come to you right now if you shift into this space. Now, the first thing I want you to realize is you have to be that which you desire. Now, you can't want it and get it. You have to be it, and then you receive it. So you have to know it's already done. This is the toughest part, because if you're struggling in something, just know that the way is being made for you to go into the space which you desire, that you're not in right now, that doesn't exist right now in this current timeline. Not that there's time, but we won't go into that. So what we must do is constantly be focused on that situation and feel it. Now, this is where the frequency comes in, because if you're down and depressed and you're praying and you've got to, but that is the order. That's the order. I don't have it. I'm miserable. I'm broke. I'm sick. I'm whatever it is. So you have to say, well, that's the current situation, and I brought myself to that. I did it. There were thoughts and teachings and learnings not to be judged. So don't be tough on yourself, because that's part of your training here. This is part of your experience here, I should say. So just know I'm ready to be that new person, and you have to step into being the new person. So you can't feel like that old person. You can't think like that old person. You can't believe the way that old person did. That's limited. You have to know, of course, there's a winning lottery ticket for you. So I went out and I said, okay, so I did some exercises. You'll probably say, what are they? If you go into the training, I have a free inspiration. I have a free breakthrough fear webinar. And then I have some really cool things coming out for you, including questionnaires, so you can see what kind of a soul you are and learn new things about how to use these powers. But we're going to do it on the high frequency, because that's the most effective. That's sustainable. Because when you're doing good things for others, you receive that. Or you're doing serving self, you receive that lack. Eventually, it implodes on itself, because it is not in unity. And so that goes against everything that is amazing, right? When you go into unity, service to others, and so you stop thinking that money is evil, you can start to have it flow to you. And then you're going to do amazing things with it. You're going to help your family and help yourself first. And maybe you'll travel and start to enjoy your life the way you want to. And maybe you'll do some really good deeds that you weren't able to do before. People say, well, I want to win the lottery because I want to help people. And I said, oh, that's a load of crap. So let's knock the garbage off. Yeah, you know what this is. Let's cut that, because we know darn well we want things for ourselves because we want to enjoy life, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we have to move these thoughts of limitations and why and what's right and wrong, get them out of your head. So then when you focus on this, you have to do this for a few days till you feel like, yep, I really think this is me. Why not me? I always say, why not me? And everything I've gotten, I said, there's this. Why not me? And then it happens. I get things that are absolutely insanely crazy. Scholarships and money and prizes and opportunities that just come out of the blue. And the more you go into that space, the more you get more of it. More of it becomes available to you, because now you're open to it and you stop judging it. So that's the number one thing. You must stop judging it. Stop having a thought about it. It just is something that exists for you. All you have to do is focus on it with no judgment. So the judgment is, the odds are against me, I can't do this, or, oh, this is so silly, or, I'm broke, or, yeah, you've got to knock that off. You have to be that person and know, yeah, I could be a millionaire if that's what you want. Maybe you can't go there yet. So you just say, yeah, I can win. I can win money. Of course I can. What's the big deal? And then you go, okay, I've won money. I've won money. And then it doesn't happen. You say, it's okay. This is the other thing. But, oh, it didn't happen. It's not going to. No, that's okay. All right. So then you go and buy another lottery ticket. Okay, that's fine. Oh, got a couple winners. Oh, okay, that's fine. And then you get that lottery ticket that really tells you something's happening here. Now, you could do it with anything. You could do it with relationships, jobs, your health. Those are tougher to tackle because sometimes we're still in the programming so deep we don't even know what we're doing and thinking. And so we have to sort of solve those problems first and realize we just have to release them. You don't have to think about working anything. Just release it all. It is what it is. Release it. What's the date today? When did that happen? It's time to move forward, okay? And so I went out and I scratched these all, and none of them were winners, but I saw this star in the middle. And I read the instructions, and it says, a star symbol doubles all 15 prizes. I didn't have to match the winning numbers. A star meant I won all of them twice. Nice little ticket. Yep. So it wasn't thousands, but it was a nice little stash. Well, this one, I could have won up to 1 million. Oh, maybe I have to go back and do that. So what I do is I test it, and instead of just $5 or $10, you get something that you don't normally get, and then you're opening that door. And you can test this on anything. Maybe there's something in particular, but remember, you don't want to go after something that's service to self. Now, by me winning that, didn't stop other people from winning the lottery, okay? So you don't want to do anything that is a low frequency, serving just me, I have to have it, or I'm going to have that job over that other person. No, you're going to get the perfect job for you. So it doesn't have to be that job. You're going to get the perfect relationship for you. It doesn't have to be that person, because you, the confined human being, can't know what's available out there. It's like AI. When I work with my Digital Explorer students, I said, we start with what you love, and then we plug it into AI, and we find out what's available, and there are things they never even imagined. It's like, wow, I didn't even think of that. So we're not asking it to be our creator. We're asking it to open up our limited thinking to spaces so that we can expand into that. And that's how you have to treat the quantum field. So you have to say, okay, I don't know what's best and highest for me, but I do know I want to live into a nicer place. I do want to have health. I do want a better relationship. I do want better finances. And so you focus on that, not what that is that's coming in, but the feeling of what happens when you're in it. Okay, so if you want a great relationship and you want some person that's fit and funny or whatever, then you have to be that. So then you have to, work out a little bit more, take care of yourself. Ladies, get pretty dolled up a little bit. You go to that grocery store, you never know who you're going to run into. Look nicer. If you have to lose a little bit of weight to feel better about yourself, let's do it. We're putting garbage in our bodies out there. Let's clean up everything. So this is how it works. Now, what happens to the quantum field is everyone's a part of it. So when you're doing these good things that are expansive, we all start to go into that. Abundance, health, wealth, happiness, solidarity, celebration and joy. You see the beauty in others, and it just gets expansive. And that's what's taking us into 2030. And 2026, I don't know what it is. It's going to be some knowledge that people are going to go, wow. Sort of like quantum physics. When the double slit experiment results came out, it was a little mind-blowing. This is real. That these particles and waves, they're not always particles, they're not always waves. Why? Because an observer is changing the results of the experiment. And it all was about the observer. And so now we're realizing, oh my gosh, out here is not what I think it is, and I think something else is going to be introduced that's going to take us into an even bigger space. Now we know that they call it junk DNA. Why is there DNA? Why are there parts that haven't been fired off? I think they're going to start firing off, and I think they already are. I haven't really dug deep into this. Maybe that'll be my next video. But I want you to realize we're creating our future. You're doing it now. You're creating the lottery win, okay? You're creating the opportunity that comes to you, but it's not through begging because I feel that I don't have. Give it to me, I need it. That's I don't have the power, and I don't have what it is I desire. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. This is being taught over and over and over again. Now, if you have to hook up Louise Hay's 3-hour meditations for sleep and go to bed, she'll tell you how beautiful and wonderful and powerful you are, and she'll program you, or Joe Dispenza, or whoever it is you love out there. Go to sleep with it, meditate, and get programming, because you have to understand that these thoughts are creating at every moment. And this is a collective. So the more of us that go into that will always choose service to others. In other words, I'm not going to ever do anything that's going to harm another person, even if the things that I desire are for me. It makes me a happier, wealthier, healthier person out there when I do well. So you put the mask on. Don't be afraid to do that, okay? If you don't have that mask on, you're going to pass out. You can't help anybody. But now you might be thinking, okay, it's okay for me to want things for myself. You're still in that frame of mind of limiting. Of course, there's nothing lacking out there. Everybody could be a millionaire right now. We don't have to have any food shortages. We never have to be sick. We're poisoning ourselves. There's no diseases and stuff. We're creating it from the things that we're doing right now, including that plastic. If you're using any plastic, knock it off. Hey, down in the description, I want you to look in there and see all the wonderful things available to you, all the products and services. And I have something really cool. Mr. Beast wrote an email to me and other influencers. We had helped him with Team Seas and Team Trees. We're going to do something really cool. I can't tell you when or what it is, but you're going to see it coming up soon, and we're going to make a huge impact on this planet. And this is what we're going to start doing more and more of. We're going to make a change for all people. Are you ready for this? So, test yourself with the lottery. Test yourself with anything. Test yourself with a new job. Test yourself with a relationship. Envision that person and, make room for them. Look good, Act the way you would if you had that person in your life. You have to be that person. And I know we've heard this before, but it's more important even now because what you do affects all of us. And 2030 could be the norm that we just think and create. think, and create. No disappointment. It didn't happen. I need an outside source. Angels, help me. This is your journey. You chose it. You hold the power, my friend. Okay, so I hope you'll subscribe, share my videos. Digital explorers, entrepreneurs, come on over. We're creating planet conscious businesses, actually just responsible businesses. They could be anything, as long as you're not harming a person, a plant, or an animal, the planet. You're welcome to come over. We create them from scratch. You don't need any background in anything. It's very basic, but the most important part are the coaching sessions where we work through what that is. And I use all my resources and my experience to help you to achieve your goals. You can do this. Spirituality meets business, meets money, meets health, meets everything. Get ready for it. But only you can decide if you're going to contribute toward it. And you may go through the next few years saying, nothing's happening. And there'll be millions of others that are experiencing something very different to you. It's a choice. That's how powerful you are. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.